All right, here we are again with another edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. It's the Tuesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. What a run we're on. Great weather once again today. Sunshine for the most part, dew points a non-story, temperatures a little bit warmer than average, but still not too many complaints unless you are an allergy sufferer. The pollen's still through the roof. Last evening I emphasized how little rain we've seen so far in June this year, compared to the same time period last year, much wetter last year. And today is a good example of that. So we had a very wet June 16th back in 2019, 1.18 inches worth of rain at the Youngstown Warren Airport. Lots and lots of rain across the valley during May and June of last year. This year has been a whole different story. I mentioned those pollen counts. They remain really high, especially right now. The grass pollen is very high. Tree pollen became pretty elevated 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's still very elevated here in mid-June. We've had enough dry days that the pollen really has not been knocked down significantly for a little while now. We do have some chances for rain coming up, which should help out allergy sufferers a little bit. Really cool high-res satellite picture of the region today. This is the low-orbiting MODIS satellite. It's a great shot, even two shots, of northern Ohio, Lake Erie, northwest PA, southern Ontario, each and every day, and sometimes these shots can show us a lot about what happened that day. Today, a great example of what's called a lake shadow, or the lake breeze, causing subsidence right around the southern lakeshore of Lake Erie. So it was crystal clear in Cleveland and right along the lakeshore, both over to Cedar Point and up the lake towards Erie as well. And then you move inland, and that air starts to rise some and become a little more unstable as the terrain becomes a little more of an influence as well. And you get a field of cumulus clouds on a fair weather day like today. And just a classic example of that across northern Ohio, northwest PA today. So yeah, today was a winner. Another look at the visible satellites. This is a 12-hour loop showing that cloud shadow forming and then kind of drifting to the south and west. The prevailing winds mostly out of the east to at times northeast, especially in the mid-levels of the atmosphere today. All right, still pretty chilly underneath this upper-level low across the Carolinas. Places such as Charlotte, Raleigh had one of their coldest summer days on record today underneath this upper-level low. Temperatures hardly moved all day. It stayed in the 60s in a lot of places. And, of course, now that we're into mid-June, normal highs in parts of North and South Carolina are pretty close to 90 degrees, at least in the middle and upper 80s. And so way below average underneath that upper low today. I've been kind of lamenting all week that, boy, poor vacationers in the Outer Banks and Myrtle Beach and Wilmington and heading up towards Virginia Beach, not the greatest week to be vacationing down there. It's still soggy this evening from Norfolk and Virginia Beach to Raleigh as well. Gets a little bit better once you're south of Myrtle and closer to Charleston and Hilton Head. All right, our dew points today, again, a non-story. A beautiful, beautiful sight in the warm weather season when we have dew points in the upper 40s and lower 50s. The higher dew point air remains off to our west. It's in places such as Des Moines and Sioux City and Topeka. Finally, we're going to start to see some rise in our dew points by Thursday, but it's actually going to come from this direction. As that upper level low starts to jog north, we're going to see an increase in moisture across our region with an increasing chance for showers and storms as well. Well, much like today, if you're going to be out and about on Wednesday, actually, this should say 10. Let's forgive me for not changing 8 to 10, but it's a full 10 as far as the UV index goes on Wednesday. So if you are a construction worker, a roofer, a landscaper, if your job involves being outside all day, if you're going to be playing golf, of course, sunscreen is a must. You can sunburn really easily at this time of the year. The sun is almost at its peak elevation in the sky. That occurs, of course, as astronomical summer begins this weekend. All right, tomorrow is going to look a lot like the last couple of days, although a veil of high clouds will try to filter in. I think we'll start to see a cirrus deck starting to mix in with the sun on Wednesday. So maybe not as pristine as the sky looked at times today. But overall, another nice day with relatively tame dew points. The changes start on Thursday as that upper low jogs north. I think there'll be a scattering of showers and storms on Thursday. Not going to be shocked if we get a couple of taller storms if we have some small hail in some of those heavier showers and storms. But it's going to be the classic random hit or miss variety stuff. No telling where those showers and storms will decide to set up on Thursday. Same idea Friday. a hit or miss style day, especially as we get into the afternoon. All right, one more day with dew points down in the upper 40s, lower 50s, and then some changes starting Thursday and taking us right through the weekend. Not sure I buy necessarily the reduction in dew points just yet on our modeling for early next week. I kind of still suspect it's pretty muggy Monday and into Tuesday as well. Summer officially ends. I believe it's at 5:47 Saturday evening, and then we have Father's Day coming up on Sunday. And boy, is it going to be a hot one and a humid one. Temperatures well up into the 80s. Chance for that spotty hit or miss storm on Sunday, mainly after, say, 2 p.m. But the vast majority of the day will be rain-free. We should be in pretty good shape. The 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook showing a pretty unsettled period, I think, for next week. Several chances of showers and storms, it looks like, for next week. Now, that being said, after a pretty hot weekend, it doesn't look especially hot in the longer range. Could be a little warmer than average, yes, but I don't see a lot of 90s in our future in the medium range here, 8 to 14 days. Don't see a lot of 90-degree days, seeming pretty likely in the kind of the tail end of June. So 8 to 14 day outlook from right now, that takes us from, June the 24th through the very end of the month. We may get away with a 90-degree or free of 90-degree temperatures during the second half of June this year, although we'll get awfully close, I think, coming up this Sunday. Thanks for checking out the Tuesday evening edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. I'll have a couple more updates this evening on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you're following me on Twitter if you're on Twitter. I'm Eric WFMJ on Twitter. Instagram as well. Search for Eric WFMJ and you'll find me there.